Hello, my name is Brian Kelly. I'm a chiropractor and I've been a chiropractor for a number of years, and I'm the president of the New Zealand College of Chiropractic, which is located in Auckland, New Zealand. I have the privilege of practicing part-time now, just a few hours a week. And some years ago I received a phone call from a woman who was a mother, a new mother, and she had a baby that had been born in the hospital some 8 weeks before and had never moved. And I returned the phone call that evening. It was late at night, we were out at dinner and went to dinner with a few notes in my pocket and realised I had to call her. And she was telling me the story, and I said, well, what happened? And she said, well, we really don't know, but when the baby was born, something happened at that time, and they've done all these tests for the last couple of months, and the baby doesn't move, it doesn't swallow, and they've said your baby will probably die. However, there's a chance that if it does live, that'll be a spastic quadriplegic. These aren't sort of phone calls I normally get on a Monday night. So I chatted with her for a couple of minutes and I said, well, maybe tomorrow you can send me some of the medical records. So the fax machine ran hot and these pages and pages of notes had come through. And basically what happened is at some point during the birth process that the baby had, something had happened. I guess it had got stuck and there was a lot of force involved. And when some of these reports came through, one of them was an MRI of the brain, and they said that there was bleeding and swelling at the base of the brain. And the radiologist report said it was most likely due to birth trauma. Some other tests they'd done was a brain scan measuring the activity in the cortex, and they found that it was just almost like the brain hadn't woken up. They said it was a lot lower than normal. So I went to the hospital the next day and I met the dad, and the dad was had an older daughter who was 9, and I'm a parent, and they had two months of no hope and not a great sort of prognosis. So we just kind of hugged. It was sort of surreal. I didn't know the guy, but it was just one of those things. So I went in there and checked the baby, and it was literally like it was asleep. And it also had some other things where it couldn't open its eyes, and when they did, there was no movement. And so there was a brain injury. And they were either going home or just some of them were going home. So if we'd looked in the research and said, well, what cases have there been helping a baby like this? I didn't know of any that had been written up. So I went back to my philosophy, which is what does a chiropractor do and what could I do? So I examined the baby and gave an adjustment in the neck. And some people say, well, how do you do that to a little person? And the answer is very gently, and probably about the amount of pressure you'd use on your eyeball. And I said to the dad, this will help, and we'll see you tomorrow. So I went in the next day and examined this little girl, and she seemed the same, and we gave her another adjustment, and I said, I know this will help. So this went on for a few days. In fact, I went every day for 32 days. And sometimes I was away, I was travelling a little bit, and my brother's a chiropractor, he'd go and check the baby, and then there was a good friend of ours from North America. She's a chiropractic, specialises in babies, chiropractic paediatrician, and she came and did some cranial work, and she said, you've got to get this baby swallowing. And she stuck her finger in the baby's mouth, and there seemed to be some swallowing, but I don't know. Anyway, I got a text on the 25th day from the mum, and she said that they've just done another brain scan and EEG, and on the text she said it's within normal limits. So I don't know how much is too much checking a baby, but I guess it's like going to the dentist, you can't be over-checked. So we started doing some cross-crawling work, lift an arm and a leg, and the other arm and a leg, and every day for 32 days we checked and adjusted the baby. Then we went every other day for a little bit, and then the baby would get, as time went on, infections, and the parents would, do we give antibiotics or do we don't, and sometimes they did, and sometimes they didn't. And then they got to a point where they said, well, there's not much we can do here, and your baby seems to be better, so you know, you might as well go home. And they live on a side of a hill, if you like, a mountain, and so it was kind of difficult, you know, with a child like that. But they got the baby home, and then a few months went by, and we'd go and see the baby at home a couple of times a week, and then once a week. And they were relating a story where they went in one morning and they realised, because the baby had been on oxygen this whole time, as they walked in, they realised that the oxygen machine was off, and they thought, crikey, you know, our baby's passed away. And they realised that they'd forgot to turn it on at night, and the baby was now using its lungs. So it sort of makes you wonder, maybe if we put these dependencies there, that doesn't give the body an opportunity to do what it does. It was the most amazing thing I'd ever experienced, and I've seen a few things in chiropractic, but time went on, and you know, people drifted out of your life, and a number of months went by, and then about a year later, the dad came in, and this little girl walked in, and you know, she has a brain injury and she'll have her challenges, but that's a long way from you're a spastic quadriplegic and you'll never live. So I don't know what's possible in health, and I guess in the medical system, you know, they can't give false hope. I appreciate that, but they had nothing to lose, and I think when you offer hope, you know, there's a chance something might happen, and this was a miracle.
That's beautiful.